Welcome to Comic Movie 10, where you get insight into everything comic book movies and television related in 10 minutes or less. I'm Joe Kane.
And I'm Dan Kane. No relation. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and share and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp final credit scenes.
Yes, the last episode we did a show on the review of Ant-Man and Wasp, but we left out this after credit scene on purpose for this episode.
That almost sounds like backpedaling, but I like it.
I backpedal fast.
Yes. Anyway, but we are going to take a delve into the Ant-Man and the Wasp after credit scenes. It's going to be a fun little jaunt.
Right.
So there were two after credit scenes, and we're going to start by talking about the second one first.
Right.
Because that's what we do. We like to go backwards.
We go backwards. The second one was a funny little thing that was all the way at the end.
Now, basically, the thing, this one actually really annoyed me because we waited for it's at the very end after the credits, and the credits roll, you go through, and you're sitting there for a few minutes, and it was Anthony, or one of the ants, playing drums. He had been big sized throughout the entire movie, and he was a stand-in for Scott as he had an ankle bracelet on. So we find out at the end of the movie here that the ant has learned to play the electronic drum kit.
Yes, he's sitting there playing the drums. And that was annoying just because you sit for these movies and you wait for the absolute end, and everybody knows it's Marvel. You got to sit, you got to wait.
We've been conditioned to wait.
And you've got an audience, a theater full of people waiting, and what you get is an ant playing the drums.
And I get it. You know, there's been a lot of tongue-in-cheek endings after credit scenes in different movies now, and I get it. It was something like that. But the thing that really kind of sat under my skin and made me annoyed with it was the fact that was literally in one of the previews for the movie. You saw the ant sitting there playing drums.
Yeah.
So it wasn't shocking. It wasn't anything new that we saw. It kind of, to me, detracted from a good movie.
Yeah.
That you waited all the way into the end of that to see the same thing that you saw in the trailer.
Right. And again, we're accustomed to seeing something mind-blowing at those last moments, too.
True. Okay, so the thing that we wanted to focus on was the couple-minute scene that comes mid-trailer.
Yes, the first post-credit scene.
Mid-credits.
Mid-credit.
Mid-trailer. Now I'm talking like that. The mid-credit scene was a scene. You want to set it up? Go for it.
Basically, Hank Pym and his wife and the Wasp are standing there. They send Ant-Man subatomic.
Yes.
And
into the quantum realm through a portable version that's in the back of a van. Right.
And they're counting down. They're about to bring him back. They get to 2, and then you don't hear anything. And he's going, "Okay, guys, real funny." And then they show you what happened to the other 3. They disappeared. They disintegrated. And that is a direct result of what we saw at the end of Infinity War. They were 3 victims of the Thanos thumb snap.
Well, I mean, the cool thing is there's lots of other MCU shows that have come out, and this is the first movie that really directly related right to Thanos' snap in the Infinity War. And we keep I feel like we keep talking about the Infinity War a lot, but it was very impactful to every other MCU film that's out there right now.
Well, it was the lead up. Everything before, the 17, 18 films before, led up to what happened in Infinity War. So you have this movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and
which by showing this end credit scene tied it into the movie, and not only tied it into the movie, secured the time period that it was the whole movie was actually set in.
It was set during.
It was set during the events.
The same time. And they disappear, and it's good because you kind of wonder. Well, I remember watching Infinity War and going, "All right, well, who wasn't in the movie? Obviously, Ant-Man can't be in it because they can't tie him up in this. Yeah. But then they did tie him up in it, but in a separate way,
indirectly. This after credit scene or mid credit scene, we'll call it, is really impactful to the entire MCU in a very subtle way. It shows that it really is all tied together.
Right.
And I'm not going to say it's the first time that you see that, because obviously every little movie and every little thing has had a purpose, which is very cool.
Right.
But this particular Ant-Man scene was a direct tie to putting this into a time period that this was actually took place before the snap and during the snap, and this was all taking place while all this other garbage was happening in Wakanda and in other places.
Yeah, and while all these guys are fighting, and it's one of my favorite post or mid-credit scenes just because of the consequences of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You know what we did an episode a little while back about our top 5 favorite post-credit scenes or mid-credit scenes.
Yeah,
and this one definitely got up there because of the fact of how impactful to the rest of the MCU that it actually is.
It would definitely be on my top 4 or 5 list, just because most of the post-credit scenes, as awesome as a lot of them are, and all better than an ant playing drums, they're usually lead-ups to what's going to happen. Oh, this is amazing. Thanos grabbing the glove. Now I'll do it myself. And they all mean something, but they all lead up to something. This was not lead up. This was the consequence.
Yeah, it was the first time we saw something that was a consequence instead of a clue into what's happening next.
Right.
Although this does lead into a certain clue as to what can happen next. That's the thing. It's double-sided because 1, it shows the consequences of what's going on. 2, it leaves Scott in this quantum realm, which now obviously can kind of tie into possibilities for how the fourth Avengers can take place.
Right.
So there's, like I said, there's double consequences there on what this actually, how relevant this actually was.
Right.
To everything else going on.
Well, it led me, one thing I thought about at the end of Infinity War was, well, what happened to these people that disappeared? Where did they go? What world are they in? So is Ant-Man the only one that's in a bizarre kind of world, or are the people that disappeared in a separate sort of zone that's just as bizarre?
Well, here's a question. Is Ant-Man in the quantum realm? Was he actually snapped away? Or were they snapped away and he's stuck now in this quantum realm?
Right.
We've seen set pictures of Captain America and Iron Man and Ant-Man together for the upcoming Avengers 4 movie. So the cool tie together is that obviously they work it out and Scott is available to be able to do this.
Right.
At the moment, he's stuck in the quantum realm.
Right.
Which is obviously going to tie in a big piece to the next Avengers movie. Just a side note, Tom Holland was sitting in an interview just recently and started talking about the quantum realm and how complex lines are for some of the other characters because they're talking about quantum realms and this and that, which seems like a big slip up on Tom Holland's part, which is not the first time he's done that, by the way. So, we can keep that in mind that's a good possibility of where this is leading.
Right.
Ant-Man had 2 post-credit scenes. One was absolutely discouraging and disheartening and every other kind of diss I could throw out there. And then the other one was absolutely monumental and rates on our top couple of a top list of our top credit scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it is cool.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing how this is going to play out. Let us know in the comments below what you think and how you think this is going to pan out for Ant-Man and the Wasp. See you next time on Comic Movie 10.
We love bringing you these episodes, and we need your help to keep them coming.
Please don't forget to share and subscribe, and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com.